God says, this is a moment you cannot afford to delay, for the heavens are leaning close to whisper a secret that was hidden from you for so long, and Archangel Michael himself is weeping with urgency as he declares that you must hear this without hesitation, without waiting, without turning your eyes away, because time is narrowing, and in just 2 minutes something will shift around you that will bring clarity, shock, and divine exposure. God says, your sister's hidden truth has weighed in the silence of heaven, and now it will no longer remain in the shadows, because the angels of exposure have spread their wings and circled around her life, and the trumpet of revelation is about to sound. God says, you may not believe what your spirit is about to receive, but you must stay steady, for this is not a message meant to destroy you, but to awaken you, to prepare you, to shield you from a deception that was planted in secret corridors. God says, you must trust that no weapon, no lie, no mask, no hidden hand will prevail against the soul that abides in him, for his truth, no matter how painful, is always the pathway to freedom. Archangel Michael says, I order you now, not in anger, but in divine urgency, open this word into your heart, because the delay of even one moment could cost you the peace of your tomorrow. Michael says, he has stood guard at your door, he has circled your nights with fire, he has cut away snares that were unseen, but this truth about your sister is one he could not stop from unfolding, for it is written in the book of exposure, decreed in heaven that the truth must come to light. Michael says, don't ignore this, for if you ignore this, you will walk in blindness while others already whisper behind your back, and the pain of discovery later will be far heavier than the pain of hearing it now. God says, your sister's hidden truth is a story written in silence, carried in shadows, guarded by fear, but heaven sees what earth conceals. This is not gossip, this is not rumor, this is not empty words, this is divine exposure. God says, you will believe when you hear it, because something deep in your spirit has always sensed that there was something not spoken, something not shown, something carefully hidden. God says, the confirmation of heaven will strike your heart like lightning, and you will know this is not imagination, not illusion, but revelation. God says, your sister is very tied to something that she never confessed, very linked to something that shaped the path of your life without your awareness, and this is why the angels are pressing you now to open your eyes. God says, do not mistake his warning for judgment. This is not to condemn, but to prepare, for the truth about your sister is both heavy and heartbreaking, yet necessary for your protection. God says, there were times she smiled while holding back a storm, times she stood near you with secrets sealed inside her chest, and those secrets are now trembling on the edge of revelation. God says, you must be ready, because the shock may shake you, but it will also set you free. Archangel Michael says, 2 minutes are left, 2 minutes before something stirs in your spirit, 2 minutes before an unseen hand writes across your heart, 2 minutes before the veil tears open and you see what you never saw before. Michael says, you cannot escape this, because this is not an enemy's plot, but heaven's decision. This is God's timing, and you cannot run from timing. Michael says, you will be tempted to deny it, to push it away, to cover it with excuses, but you must not, because denial will chain you, while acceptance will release you. God says, this is very bad news, not because you will be destroyed, but because the heart feels pain when betrayal is unmasked, when truth pierces illusions, when love must walk through fire. God says, your sister is very much tangled in choices she hid from you, very much involved in things she swore you would never know, and the angels of the Lord cannot withhold it any longer. God says, there is healing after this storm, there is restoration after this revelation, but first the exposure must come. God says, remember how many times you felt confusion when speaking to her, how many times her words seemed covered in half-light, how many times she withdrew when you asked too much. That was not your imagination. That was heaven stirring your discernment, alerting your spirit that something did not align with truth. God says, now you will see why. Archangel Michael says, he has carried the scroll of her hidden truth in his hands for long nights, pleading with God for the right time to deliver it, and tonight, right now, this moment, is that time. Michael says, he is not coming with condemnation, but with warning, because if you ignore this truth, your future will be written in the ashes of deceit, but if you receive it, your future will be secured in the light of clarity. God says, the truth is this, your sister has walked with a mask, and the mask was not only for strangers but even for you. She is very deeply tied to something that touches your destiny, very entwined in choices that ripple into your life. God says, what she hid was not small, it is life-altering, destiny-shaping, future-binding. God says, she never wanted you to know, because if you knew, you would see her differently, and the bond you shared would no longer stand on innocence but on awareness. God says, even though this is heavy, you are safe. You must not fear. You must not imagine that this revelation will shatter your life, because God holds you, protects you, and has already prepared your heart for this exposure. God says, nothing will go wrong with you, nothing will steal your destiny, nothing will destroy your soul, for He is with you, and His hand is stronger than any secret. God says, pray now. Pray for strength, pray for clarity, pray for grace to handle what is being revealed. Pray that you do not respond with anger but with understanding, even while holding the truth firmly. God says, this is not the time to expose her with rage, but to understand why heaven exposed her to you. God says, there is purpose even in pain, and this revelation carries divine purpose. God says, your sister's hidden truth connects to the story of betrayal, silence, and hidden dealings. God says, what she is very involved in was something she thought would never surface, but God is a God of exposure. What is done in secret must be shouted on the rooftops, and the rooftops of heaven are thundering now. Michael says, do not delay, open this in your heart immediately, because your hesitation could open the door for the enemy to confuse you. Michael says, he has seen too many souls ignore the first whisper and later drown in regret. You cannot afford regret. Open this now. God says, though this is bad news, it is also good news, because truth is always good, even when it hurts. God says, He would rather wound you with truth than comfort you with lies. God says, your sister is very bound in fear, very trapped in her own choices, very weighed down by guilt, but the burden is no longer hers alone, because heaven has chosen to place it in your awareness. And God says, once this truth settles in your heart, you will look back at years of moments, glances, silences, and suddenly everything will make sense. God says this is the moment where time has narrowed down to the last 2 minutes, and Archangel Michael is not whispering gently this time, he is crying out with urgency, commanding your heart to listen, commanding your soul to wake up, because there is no more space for delay, no more space for waiting. This message is burning in the heavens like fire, and it descends to you like lightning, because your sister's hidden truth is about to be exposed before your eyes, and you will not even believe how far the deception has stretched, how deep the wound has gone, how carefully the silence has been built around you to blind you. You were not supposed to know, they told her to hide it, they made her bury it, but God says when Michael raises his sword, no lie can remain covered, no mask can stay on the face, no darkness can remain in the shadow. Archangel Michael says this isn't a joke, this isn't a small matter, this is not something you can brush away like dust on a table. He says your sister carries a truth in her heart like a locked chest, and she hoped you would never touch the key, she prayed you would never turn the lock, because once you open it, you will realize how deeply connected it is to your destiny, how tightly it is bound to your future, and how dangerously it has been tied against you. You must not ignore this. God says your angels have already seen her in the midnight hour, pacing, whispering to herself, afraid of the consequences, fearful of exposure, but unwilling to come forward, unwilling to tell you what she knows. She sits with her head down, trembling when your name is mentioned, but she tries to smile, tries to hide, and tries to pretend that all is well. But God says the time of pretense is over. This truth is not small. It is not just gossip, not just misunderstanding, not just jealousy. It is a web she entered into, a connection she tied herself to, and a choice she made against you. Heaven says your sister has been keeping a piece of your own story in her hands, something that belongs to you, something that was written in your name, and she has hidden it from you. The bad news is not that she has been weak, but that she has been silent. The bad news is not that she has stumbled, but that she has concealed it so well that even you began to believe there was nothing beneath the surface. God says this message comes with tears, because Michael himself has been restless, watching you trust, watching you pray, watching you ask heaven for clarity while the very answer has been sitting in your sister's silence. Michael says he shouted before, he sent you signs, he knocked at your spirit, he stirred your dreams, but you did not want to believe that the one you love so deeply, the one tied to you by blood, could be holding back something so dangerous. But God says denial cannot save you, pretending will not protect you, and refusing to see the truth will not erase it. Your sister is very involved in something you never expected. You will believe your sister is very different from what she shows you. You will be shocked, because heaven says she has worn the mask of care, but underneath she carries the hand of betrayal. She has stood near those who spoke against you, she has whispered words you were never supposed to hear, she has sat in conversations where your future was the subject, where your downfall was the topic, and though her heart trembled, she did not rise to defend you. She thought silence would keep her safe, but God says silence is also betrayal, and now it has been written in the book of heaven that the time of covering is over. Archangel Michael says, do not panic, do not be afraid, do not let the shaking of this truth destroy your faith. God says you are safe, you are covered, you are not abandoned. This revelation is not coming to destroy you, but to prepare you, to warn you, to strengthen you, to free you from deception so that you are no longer walking blind in the midst of hidden enemies. God says the 2 minutes left are the sign of urgency, time is closing in, and if you don't open your spirit right now, the moment will pass you and you will remain in darkness. Heaven says you must accept this exposure, you must let it pierce you like a sword, because only then can the healing begin. God says your sister has been used. She did not always mean to, she did not plan it in the beginning, but step by step, whisper by whisper, she was drawn into a circle where she became the silent key against you. They fed her fear, they convinced her it was safer not to speak, they lured her with promises that silence would protect her, but in reality, silence chained her to deception. Michael says you will soon discover that there were moments she almost told you, moments she sat with her phone in her hand ready to send you a message, moments she walked up to your door ready to knock and reveal the truth, but every time, she pulled back, every time, fear gripped her, every time, the spirit of confusion whispered, not now. Not today. Don't say it. And yet heaven says today is the day, now is the hour, this is the minute. God Himself has ripped the veil. Michael says the trumpet is sounding and the truth will not be hidden any longer. You will be shocked when you see what your sister has done. God says she is very involved in the story of your delay, very connected to the chain of events that kept you wandering, very linked to the strange blockages that never made sense. You prayed for blessings and they seemed delayed, you prayed for breakthrough and it seemed hindered, you asked why doors would not open, and heaven says the reason was not far from you, it was sitting next to you in family form. That is why this is heavy. That is why this is painful. Because betrayal from far away can be endured, but betrayal from blood cuts deep. But God says even in this, you are safe. Rest assured, nothing will go wrong with you, because heaven is intervening. God says this revelation is the very key to your release. Michael says the bad news is real, but it is also the sign that the good news is greater. The hidden truth about your sister will sting, but it will also break the chain. It will shatter the curse. It will expose the root. And once the root is exposed, it cannot continue to grow in darkness. God says trust Him, pray to Him, lean on Him, because this storm will not sweep you away. It will reveal, but it will not destroy. It will shake, but it will not collapse you. You must remember that you are covered by divine protection, that Michael stands by your side, that your angels are encamping around you, and that your destiny remains in the hand of God. Even now, Michael says there are forces panicking because the truth is coming out. They see this message, they hear the trumpet sound, and they are trembling, because once you know, they cannot control you anymore. Once you see, they cannot blind you anymore. Once you step into light, darkness loses its grip. God says, you will soon face your sister with eyes that see through, ears that hear the unspoken, a spirit that discerns the hidden. Do not lash out in anger, do not let wrath take over, but let wisdom guide you. Because God says the truth must not only be revealed, it must be handled in His timing, His way, His grace. You will not be destroyed by this revelation, you will be empowered. You will not be abandoned in this exposure, you will be lifted. Michael says again, this is not a joke. Do not ignore this. Do not let the 2 minutes pass without opening your spirit to this message. This is your divine alert, your urgent warning, your heavenly preparation. You were not supposed to be left in the dark. And now the light has come. God says, rest assured, you are safe, but prepare yourself, your sister's hidden truth is very bad news, and soon, very soon, you will see what heaven has revealed. God says, listen to this with the weight of eternity in your heart, because Archangel Michael has descended with a warning that must not be dismissed. There are only 2 minutes left in the spirit before something is fully exposed, and you must prepare yourself to hear it with the strength of heaven itself. Archangel Michael says, I order you to open this right now, do not delay, do not pretend you did not hear, do not turn away from the truth that has been carried through fire and thunder to reach your ears. This message is not for the world, it is not for the crowd, it is not for gossiping lips, it is only for you, because your name has been called, your soul has been weighed, your path is the one under divine examination at this hour. God says, do not try to hide, do not try to push this away, for heaven has seen what you could not see, and the time has come to unveil what has been kept in the shadows for far too long. Your sister, the one you have trusted, the one whose name has been tied to yours by blood, by childhood memories, by the unseen bond of family, she carries a truth that is darker than you imagined. Archangel Michael says this is very bad news, but it is better for you to know the painful truth than to live in the comfort of a lie. For years, whispers have circled, actions have been taken in secret, words have been spoken behind your back, but you were shielded, blinded by love, and unaware of the danger that had been planted in your own home. Heaven has counted the tears you shed when you could not explain why betrayal followed you, why blessings were delayed, why opportunities slipped from your hand like water through fingers. The answer has been revealed now. Your sister has been carrying something in her heart and in her deeds that have worked against you. Archangel Michael weeps, not because the truth is revealed, but because you must endure the storm of knowing it. He says, "Do not think this is a small matter, for the truth about your sister is something that will shake you, something that will make you question everything you thought you understood." God says He does not expose to humiliate, but to liberate. He does not bring this message to destroy your family bond, but to break the chains of deception that were wrapped around your destiny. It is written in the heavens that light must expose darkness, and no lie can live forever. That is why, in this very moment, Michael has pressed you to open this message immediately, because if you delay, you might continue to live blind to the poison that has been silently poured into your life. Your sister is not who you thought she was. Her hidden truth is that she has spoken against you in secret, she has acted against you in places you never saw, she has been influenced by jealousy, by resentment, by fear of your rising light. She may smile in front of you, she may embrace you, she may even speak blessings to your face, but behind closed doors she has lifted words like weapons, she has shared your secrets with those who wished you harm, she has blocked your blessings by carrying reports about you to places you would never expect. God says she has allowed herself to be used by spirits that oppose your destiny, and though you see her as your sister by flesh, in the spirit she stood as a gate where the enemy could walk in. This truth will be painful, and you will not want to believe it at first. You will feel like your heart is splitting open, because how can one so close carry such a heavy deception? But Archangel Michael says, "Do not weep as one without hope, for this exposure is not for your destruction, it is for your freedom." If God did not love you, He would not open your eyes. If heaven did not care for you, the truth would remain sealed and you would continue walking in circles, wondering why your prayers seem delayed. But the divine clock has struck, and it is only 2 minutes left in the Spirit before this truth begins to manifest openly in your life. You will see signs. You will hear words that confirm this. You will feel the shift in your spirit, and you will know that God was never lying to you. God says your sister's hidden truth is tied to envy, to comparison, to an inner wound that made her feel overshadowed by you. Instead of seeking healing, she allowed that shadow to grow into bitterness, and from bitterness into betrayal. Archangel Michael saw her steps, he heard the conversations she had, he saw the transactions made in silence, and he brings this to you because you must not walk blind any longer. Do not mistake this exposure for hatred, this is heaven's mercy. My beloved child, listen carefully because this moment is unlike any other. Heaven is moving urgently, and Archangel Michael has already stepped forward with his sword of light drawn, commanding that you open your heart and receive this message without delay. God has seen something hidden in your life, something that has been veiled behind shadows and silence, and He says there are only 2 minutes left for you to truly awaken to this truth. You are not alone, you are not abandoned, and even as this truth shakes you, His hand will hold you steady. The angels surround you now, whispering courage into your soul, because what is being revealed is not meant to destroy you, but to strengthen you, protect you, and carry you into the destiny that has been written over you since before you were born. Archangel Michael says this isn't a joke, and he is weeping with intensity because he knows how heavy this truth feels. He says, "Child of God, I order you to open your spirit now. You must not delay. This message is sealed with divine urgency, and it is only for you. Do not share it with anyone else. Keep it between you and God, for the moment is sacred and heaven is witnessing the unveiling. Heaven sees what has been hidden in your family, and tonight the curtain is being pulled back. It is about your sister. The one you thought you fully knew, the one whose smile sometimes hid more than words could ever say. God says a truth is rising about her, a truth that will shock you, a truth that will make you question everything you thought you understood, but you must be prepared to receive it with the strength of prayer and the guidance of His Spirit. Do not fear the unveiling. When God reveals, He does not reveal to break you, but to lift the burden that secrecy has placed over your life. For too long, shadows have lingered in your family. For too long, certain truths have been hidden under the surface, spoken about in whispers, locked away in silence. But God is a God of exposure. He says, "What is hidden in the dark will be brought to the light. What has been sealed by lies will be opened by truth." And my child, even if this shakes your heart, know that I am with you. Nothing will harm you. Nothing will break you. My angels are stationed at your side. You must understand, the enemy always hides behind secrecy. He works in shadows, he manipulates through silence. But when light comes, his power crumbles. And that is what is happening now. Archangel Michael is commanding this revelation to break through, because heaven will not allow you to remain in blindness. This is why the urgency is so strong, why the message has come with such power, why the divine clock is ticking with only minutes left, because if you do not open your eyes now, the enemy will continue weaving his lies, and you will remain tangled in webs that were never meant for you. Your sister's truth is not easy. It is something you may have sensed deep in your soul but refused to accept, or something you never imagined could be real. God says, "I am revealing because the time for deception is over. I am revealing because I love you too much to let you be surrounded by half-truths. I am revealing because your destiny cannot be delayed any longer." Heaven knows that this revelation may feel like bad news, but child, hear this, even bad news in the hands of God turns into divine protection, divine preparation, and divine promotion. What feels like shaking will turn into a foundation of unshakable strength. You may feel betrayed, you may feel angry, you may feel heartbroken, but God says, do not let your heart be consumed by bitterness. Do not let fear swallow your peace. Remember, I am the one guiding this revelation. I am the one exposing this. And I am the one who will carry you through. Your sister's hidden truth may change the way you look at her, but it will not change who you are in me. You are chosen, you are protected, and you are blessed beyond measure. No secret can steal your destiny, no deception can remove my hand from your life, and no human weakness can stop the plans I have set in motion for you. Even now, angels are surrounding your home. They are guarding your room as you read this, placing divine fire around you so that no spirit of fear can enter. The Holy Spirit is whispering into your heart, be still and know that I am God. This truth is not the end. It is only the beginning. Do not fear what is being revealed, for the light is stronger than the dark. Archangel Michael says again with authority, open this truth now. Do not delay. You cannot close your eyes to it anymore. It is urgent, it is divine, it is a warning and a protection. And as you open your heart, you will begin to see with clarity what you could not see before. You will begin to understand things that confused you for years. Suddenly, pieces of the puzzle will come together. Suddenly, the behavior that never made sense will have an explanation. Suddenly, God's hand will point directly to the truth and say, see, I was always with you. I never let you be deceived forever. Child, you must pray. This message is not given so you can worry, it is given so you can pray. Prayer is your shield. Prayer is your sword. Prayer is what keeps you steady when truth shakes the ground beneath you. Lift your hands, even if your heart feels heavy, and say, God, I trust you. Even in this truth, I trust you. Even in this pain, I trust you. Even in this exposure, I trust you. And as you pray, strength will rise. Peace will cover you. Angels will minister to you. This urgent moment is proof of how deeply God loves you. He would not allow you to walk blindly. He would not allow you to remain in ignorance. He has chosen you to receive the revelation, and He is saying right now, my child, this is not to destroy your family but to free you from chains that were tied to you without your knowledge. This is not to curse you but to protect you. Trust me with this truth. Trust me with what I am exposing. I will give you wisdom on how to move forward, I will give you courage to handle it, and I will give you peace that no human can take away. Do not fear your sister, and do not hate her. Understand that her hidden truth is her battle, but God has exposed it so you will not be entangled in it. Stand strong, stand in prayer, and stand under the shield of heaven. You are safe. You are protected. You are loved. God says again, rest assured, nothing will go wrong with you. I am with you always. My beloved child, listen with your heart and not just your ears, for what I am about to reveal to you carries the weight of heaven's truth and the urgency of eternity's whisper. Time is not in your hands at this moment, it is in God's, and He has ordered this message to reach you at this exact minute because He knows that if you delay, if you hesitate, the storm that is gathering will fall heavier upon you. Archangel Michael himself has stepped forward with his sword of light, and with a voice that trembles in both anger and sorrow, he says there are only moments left, 2 minutes in the language of heaven's countdown. He orders you, not gently, but with divine authority, to open your spirit and take in every word. This is not something you can ignore, not something you can push aside, not something you can casually brush off as if it were another passing message. This is for you alone, and you must not share it with anyone, for it carries a hidden truth about your sister that heaven has waited to uncover, and the revelation will shake the ground beneath your feet. You believe you know her, you believe you see her as she truly is, but God says, you only see the surface. Beneath her smile lies a secret that has been carefully buried, a truth that has been locked away with chains of silence, because she hoped you would never discover it. But heaven has decided that now is the time, because if this truth remains hidden, it will hurt you in ways deeper than you can imagine. God loves you too much to let you live in blindness, and so the exposure comes, even though it will pierce your heart. You must understand, my child, that God never exposes to destroy, but always to save, to warn, to protect, to heal. Archangel Michael stands guard as I reveal this, and he says, "This is very bad news if you look with earthly eyes, but it is very good news if you look with heaven's eyes, because to know the truth is always better than to live with deception." You will struggle to believe what you hear. You will say, "It cannot be. Not her. Not my sister. She would never." And yet, God says, yes, it is her, and yes, she has done what you never expected. The silence she carries is heavy, and she has been hoping no one would notice, but heaven has noticed, and heaven always notices. Do not be afraid as I unfold this, because God Himself promises that nothing will go wrong with you, nothing will harm you, nothing will break you beyond repair. He assures you that you are safe, that His hand is covering you even as He uncovers the truth. He says, "My child, you only need to trust me, lean on me, pray to me. Do not run away from what you hear, because what is revealed is not to destroy your soul but to awaken it. I am your shield, I am your refuge, I am your safety." Your sister, the one you love, the one you trusted with parts of your heart, has not been honest with you. She carries envy where she should carry love. She has spoken words about you that you will find hard to believe. In places where she should have defended you, she has joined the voices that whispered against you. And what hurts the most is not only what she said, but what she hid: plans, choices, decisions that involve you, that affect you, but she never wanted you to know. God says, this is her hidden truth, and though it feels like betrayal, it is actually a cry for help, because even she is trapped in her own secrecy. Archangel Michael warns, you must not be blind anymore. You must not cover your ears and pretend it is not happening. If you ignore this, the wound will deepen, the trap will tighten, and you will walk into pain you could have avoided. That is why heaven presses this message into your hands with urgency, why the time is counted down so specifically. You have only this moment to open, only this moment to receive, because delay means danger. But take comfort, child of God, for though the truth about your sister is heavy, God will carry you through it. You will not collapse under the weight of what you discover. Instead, you will rise stronger, clearer, freer. God is giving you sight beyond the veil, and though it hurts to see, it is always better to see than to walk blind. He assures you, nothing will destroy you. The words of gossip will not ruin you. The envy in her heart will not stop your destiny. The lies that may have been spoken will be burned away in the fire of God's justice. You are safe, you are held, you are shielded. Pray, my child. Pray not only for yourself but also for her, because what is being exposed is not only her betrayal, but also her brokenness. She is not your enemy, even though her actions feel like betrayal. She is a soul in need of deliverance, a heart in need of healing, and God is showing you this not so that you hate her, but so that you see her truth and pray with clarity. He says, do not cover her sins, but also do not curse her. Bring her into my hands, because I am the only one who can change her. Do not share this with others. This is between you, heaven, and your sister's soul. To tell others is to put her shame in the mouths of those who do not care. This is why Michael commands silence, because gossip destroys, but prayer restores. God wants you to carry this knowledge with wisdom, not with anger. He wants you to act in love, even though you feel wounded. He wants you to walk carefully, trusting His guidance, not rushing into confrontation without prayer. Even as this truth stings, God wants you to remember who you are, His chosen, His beloved, His protected child. He says, you are not a victim. You are not powerless. You are not abandoned. You are safe in my arms, and I will not let her actions destroy you. This assurance is the anchor for your soul as you face what comes. So pray, my child. Pray without ceasing. Pray not only for understanding, but for strength. Pray not only for safety, but for clarity. Pray for your sister, for her deliverance, for her heart to be cleansed, for her envy to be turned into love. Pray for the courage to face her truth without hatred. Pray for the wisdom to walk in light, not in bitterness. And as you pray, remember that God is with you. His angels surround you. Michael stands watch with his flaming sword, ready to cut away every dark influence, ready to shield you from every attack. You are not alone in this. Heaven fights for you, even as the truth is revealed. This message comes as urgent, but also as merciful. God loves you too much to leave you blind. He loves you too much to let you keep walking in trust without awareness. He loves you enough to show you the truth, even when it hurts, because His goal is not to hurt you, but to save you, to protect you, to prepare you for the future He has written for you. Now is the time to trust Him with all your heart. Now is the time to believe His words more than the words of man. Now is the time to cling to His promises and let go of your fear. For though the truth of your sister may feel like bad news, the presence of God with you is always the best news. Nothing will go wrong with you. Nothing will destroy you. Nothing will steal your destiny. You are safe. My beloved, do not ignore this. Do not delay. The 2 minutes have passed, and the message is now in your hands. Open your heart fully, and let God's voice echo inside you. He is your refuge, your guide, your protector. He has spoken, and His word will not return empty. Trust Him. Pray to Him. Rest in Him. He is with you always, and He will never let you go. My beloved child, I come to you today with a message that carries a weight so heavy and so urgent that heaven itself trembles with the sound of Archangel Michael's voice commanding you to listen. God says there are only moments left, not hours, not days, but minutes, and within these minutes a truth long hidden, a truth that has been kept from you in silence and shadows, is now rising to the surface. It concerns your own sister, someone you love, someone you trusted, someone you thought would always be with you in loyalty and honesty, and yet God is saying something has been concealed. Do not fear, for even though the truth may strike your heart like thunder, God has promised that He will never leave you nor forsake you. Rest assured, nothing will go wrong with you, nothing can touch you, because you are chosen, you are protected, and you are guided by the power of heaven. Archangel Michael stands before you, his sword of fire gleaming with divine light, his wings spread across the horizon, covering you from harm. He is speaking with urgency. He is not whispering. He is commanding, because He knows you have tried to ignore certain nudges in your spirit, certain signs that you felt deep inside your heart but tried to dismiss as imagination. Michael says this is not your imagination, this is real. The truth about your sister is real, and it has been hidden long enough. God is bringing it into the light not to destroy you, but to awaken you, to protect you, and to strengthen you for what comes next. You must understand, my child, that when God reveals a truth, it is not to shame or to punish, but to prepare. Your life has been surrounded by forces you could not always see, and some of those forces work through people closest to you. The enemy rarely comes through strangers, he works through family, through friends, through those whose voices are familiar, because that is where the greatest deception can be carried. You trusted, you loved, and in your pure heart you believed that all around you carried the same purity. But God says, your sister has walked in silence with a secret, and this secret is not harmless. It is not small. It has the weight of betrayal, and it has pierced the very atmosphere of your life. But do not tremble, because Michael is standing guard. He is crying out to you, open your heart, open your eyes, do not close them now. If you ignore this message, the pain will be greater, but if you open yourself to God's voice right now, you will be saved from the damage the enemy tried to bring through this hidden truth. God says, my child, you are not alone. You are never alone. Even when your family fails you, even when blood betrays you, even when those you call sister, brother, or friend turn their faces in silence, I remain your father. I remain your shield. I remain the one who knows the beginning and the end. He is telling you to breathe, to trust, to release your fear into His hands, because the truth you are about to see is not greater than His power to heal and to restore. Think back to the moments when you felt something was not right, when words did not match actions, when your spirit felt uneasy though you could not explain why. Those were the whispers of heaven. Those were the quiet alarms sent to guard your heart. You tried to silence them because you did not want to doubt your sister, but God says doubt was not the voice, discernment was. You were discerning, and heaven is now confirming that you were right to feel what you felt. The truth is heavy, yes, but you must know that God reveals only when the time is right. The reason it is being revealed now, in this very moment, is because there is something greater waiting for you, a blessing, a breakthrough, a destiny so powerful that the enemy used even your sister as a vessel to try to stop it. But the enemy failed. For every hidden word, for every false smile, for every step taken in secrecy, God has been watching. Nothing has been hidden from His eyes, and now He is opening your eyes to see it as well. Michael says, 2 minutes left. Do not wait. Do not delay. Open this message in your heart. Accept it. Because when you accept, you break the chains. When you accept, you disarm the enemy. When you accept, you are no longer blindsided. Instead, you stand in the light, ready and strong. You may ask yourself, why my sister? Why would she do this? How could she carry such a truth? And God says, because she is human, because weakness overcame her, because temptation whispered louder than love, because jealousy found an open door. But this is not the end of her story, nor yours. The revelation of her hidden truth is not to destroy her or to destroy you, but to set both of you free. Sometimes exposure is painful, but it is also healing. Sometimes what looks like bad news is really the start of deliverance.